Welcome back to another episode of Curling to the Tee with Trevor. I know it's been a while since my last episode, but a lot has happened in the last year, and I'd like to talk about some of those events, some of the results of those events, and we'll go from there. The events and Bonspiels that I took after Becca Hamilton's clinic from a year ago were the Rocky Mountain Curling Invitational in Denver. Did that last year and this year. Thumbs up. Also did Mopac Arena Men's Playdowns. Took place in Oakland a year ago and then at Lake Tahoe this year. Did the 5 and Under Bonspiel in Phoenix last year and this year. Took part in Mopac Men's Club Playdowns in Phoenix. And also participated in the HIVE Bonspiel that our curling club puts on every year in April. It's really neat being able to take all of the previous knowledge and trainings and coaching and advice and being able to apply it to these different events and Bonspiels. Now, I would like to share some things with some newer curlers, and my first disclaimer is I'm not trying to point out any curlers, just trying to share this information as a learning opportunity to continuously improve. A year ago, the first time I was attending the 5 and Under Bonspiel, as I was getting ready to attend, one of the curlers on our team was like, well, sweepers will be able to know the line the best because you walk that line with the stone as it's going down. One of the things I learned from Patrick McDonald that I forgot to share in my last episode with him was that I did the same thing when I played with him a couple of years ago at the 25 and Under. I'd be walking with the stone and I would sometimes call it's inside, outside, and base it off of the center line and where the stone was. Later on, as Patrick talked to me, he said, so why do you do that? And I said, it's because of where I can see the stone in the center line and, start to see it move towards the center line or away from the center line. And Patrick informed me that only the skip and the thrower can really see the line of where the stone is at and when it starts to break. Sweepers normally can call weight, which they should, but as far as line calls, that should be coming from the skip or the thrower. And that was a big eye-opener. Another tip that I'd like to share with you newer curlers is about the term or the word room. So the word room was being used incorrectly at our 5 and Under Bonspiel a year ago. One of the curlers there was basically saying room meant to stop sweeping. It's not completely accurate. What it means is as a stone is coming down, the stone that has been thrown, is if you've got enough room for it to get by a guard and you don't have to worry about it ticking off or being too tight, is you call room to let your sweepers know, hey, we don't need to sweep super hard for the line to get around the stone. However, if it is a little bit more narrow or it starts curling harder, then you may call your sweepers to sweep. But room doesn't mean to stop sweeping all by itself. Another thing that I've seen in leagues and in Bonspiels is as a skip, you want to praise your team. You want to praise the sweepers and the throwers, and you want to try to stay positive with them. In the last year, I've actually skipped a few more times in my league, and it's been nice to be positive with your teammates. And, when a stone or when a shot doesn't work out the way you would like it to, normally I encourage them and let them know, hey, you know what? We'll work with that. Don't worry about it. Let's just keep playing and just play the best of your ability. Don't yell or discourage your team or use phrases that indicate that you're the skip, even when your team disagrees with you. You need to stay open and positive and work together as a team. Some more advice that I'd love to share with you newer curlers is to never sit, kneel, leave a hand or elbow on the ice. It can cause stones to pick, and it can cause some also weird bumps and give you some undesired results. So if you can, try to remember that. I've also decided to take up skipping lately, so I skipped my first team in the fall of 2023, and my goal was to get bronze medal to be the C event winner. Anyway, things went better than expected, and we ended up getting the silver medal, so we ended up being the B event winners. I was really happy about that. And then in the spring and summer, I also ran a few teams, and we did well, but we just happened to lose in the final. Okay, something I'm super excited about is when we had the HIVE Bonspiel, we had a team that consisted of Ken, myself, Dave Hurst, and Jerry. We went undefeated, and finally, I was able to win my first A event. It felt really good to work really hard. We played our championship game really well. The championship game is out on YouTube. I finally have won a Bonspiel. Happened to be ours, but still it felt good to be an A event winner. During the summer, I was able to meet John Shuster. I was able to get a signed t-shirt and a shirt Park City Curling Club. So he did a curling clinic up in Park City, and I was able to attend the meet and greet afterwards. And it was fun to finally be able to meet him. And I told him that I had some goals of trying to get to nationals. And he gave me some advice before I went to Mopac Men's Arena Playdowns at Lake Tahoe. He said, don't miss your shots. Now, I want to say I didn't make perfect shots at the whole event, but I did make some good shots. And we did have a couple of streamed games, and those did go very well. But anyway, it was really exciting to be able to meet John Shuster in person, to be able to hold his medals. And surprisingly, those medals are a lot heavier than they look. In other exciting news, the 2024 Paris Olympics happened. And right as those were going on, they did have the 2034 Winter Olympics bid. And Salt Lake won that bid. So they've announced that the Winter Olympics are coming back to Salt Lake City 2034. And I told my friends on Facebook that I was super excited about this. I have some big plans, some big goals. We'll see if they happen, but if not, I've got some backup plans and would love to volunteer and help out with the curling stuff. This is a great segue to talk about goals and where I'd like to go here in the near future. I want to be able to make it to nationals, whether it's for arena playdowns, club playdowns, 5 and under. I'm even available for mixed. I would love to join a mixed team and see where we could go, because I've been really improving on my skills and just working on my curling techniques, and I feel like I've made a lot of progress in the last 4 years, which is how long I've been curling. But my next goal is to make it to nationals and just kind of see what happens next. This last spring, I did get contact by a gentleman who is from Pennsylvania, and he asked me if I wanted to play on a world curling tour. But I told him because of some family health issues that I wasn't able to commit to anything this year. I'm still hoping something will work out here in the near future. In this episode, I'd like to give a big shout out to Team Falco, which consists of Dave Falco, Lance Wheeler, Claire Moores, and Rebecca Wood, for making it to the World Mixed Curling Championship and representing Team USA. It was a big deal, and I know these curlers outside of Denver, and I was super excited to see this success and to see them play on the world stage. Another big change in the last year is I talked to my wife about getting an Instagram account. So I signed up, got an Instagram account, and I've been uploading a lot of things about curling on there. I've been trying to share my best draws, hits, and other fun clips from curling, whether it's me dancing or something else. And I'm trying to do this so I can promote my skills and also try to get recruited by a competitive team. You can follow me. Just look up Trevor Dersh on Instagram and start following me. Okay, a couple other things that I want to share with you near the conclusion of this episode. So at the RMCI a year ago, it didn't go the greatest and we didn't make it to the playoffs. This year, however, we had a great run. We played against some different competitive teams, and it was exciting to kind of see and evaluate where we were as a team playing with Ken Pomeroy. So we played against Team Raju, who represents Team India. We had a very close game against them, but we pulled it off. We had a game against another Denver team, and we ended up pulling that one off. We played against Team Schroeder. Now, for those of you who don't know, Team Schroeder represented Team USA at the Everest curling event, which was an event between Canada and USA. Team Schroeder are from Wisconsin. They were the women's club national champions, and we had a very close game against them. Somehow we pulled it off. Ken threw an amazing last draw where we were able to kind of bury it, and they had to throw a double, triple, raise back, double takeout. Anyway, it was a crazy shot, but they came really close, and it was a lot of fun to play against the Team USA and to meet those girls and, cheer them on right before they had the Everest curling event. And it was fun to watch them on TV, to watch them on CBS Sports. Then we played against another Denver team. We played against Derek Kizlyk. And Derek Kizlyk was the runner-up at Club's Men's Nationals. And he didn't have his full men's team, but he had a very competitive team. They all played very well, and they beat us. And then we had to play against Team Asis, and she was our Mopac Women's Arena champion from the playoffs. And just recently, she just won the Women's Arena National Championship. We had a great game against them and ended up beating them. So we made it to the playoffs at the RMCI. There was a couple of things that we had learned from last year and some things I wanted to implement this year. I felt like one of the sweepers that I played with would kind of do a panic sweep. We would have a stone be thrown, we'd have kind of a good feel for it. But in the past, what would happen is we wouldn't really touch the stone. We'd walk by it. We wouldn't really clean. And then either the stone would start to pick up something, it would grind down something, and it would cause us to have to panic sweep, which means we had to start sweeping really fast and really hard to try to make the shot. And I told myself, we're not going to do that this time. We're going to do some more cleaning. We're going to try to keep a closer eye on the stone and make sure that we're communicating with Ken, and then just make sure that we avoid that panic sweeping, because that panic sweeping can just drain your energy and your stamina, and then you're not making shots, and it's not good for the team overall. I did share a Nick Saban quote, how Nick shared this with his football team. Basically, it's don't worry about the scoreboard or about winning. Just worry about playing your position to the best of your abilities. Make your shots. Do the best you can. The scoreboard will take care of itself. I said this several times while we were playing our different games, and it seemed to have worked out because we were playing really well at the RMCI. We made it to the playoffs, and we played against Ryan Spielman and his team in the semifinals. It was a really close game, and it was on the stream, and I felt like that I made some really great shots. So I was, again, applying that quote that Nick Saban gave to his team, and I felt like it was working out really well. We ended up not winning that semifinal game, so we went to the D event. They ended up beating us pretty good. So it was still exciting to make it to the playoffs, because that means that we were one of the top 8 teams, number 8 basically, out of everybody else, out of the 24 total teams. So it felt good to be the top 1/3 of the whole competition. Then, in the last month or so, I was able to attend the Phoenix 5 and Under Bonspiel. I did change up my team and ended up playing with a team that consisted of members mainly out of Ogden, and I was the oval curler. Molly and Alec Hackett, who played with me, actually have curled out of the oval as well. So it was exciting to have recruited them, because I really wanted them to play with me in our 5 and Under team. And they had another buddy, Carlos, who played with us, and we had a little bit of a rough start when we played at the Phoenix 5 and Under. We did not win any of our games during pool play, but then we had a chance for the C event because we had such good DSCs. So we ended up playing our semifinal game. It was super close. I ended up having to make a shot into the 4-foot ring, if not closer, to at least tie the game. Then we went to skip stones, and then I was able to make a shot, and we had some stones that were picking, and the ice was a little dirty, but we did some cleaning, and so my stone ended up in the back 8, so which wasn't exactly the best, but it wasn't the worst. And then the other team, Skip, when he threw his shot, he was just a few inches short of the house. So we made it to the C Event Championship. In the C Event Championship, we played against a team from Rock Creek, and they were great curlers. They were all 1-year curlers, but they were very skilled and looked like they had been playing for at least 4 or 5 years. We had a great game. We started off strong, and then they came back. And then in the second half, we took one, we stole 2, and then we stole 1. And in the end, it was nice because that last steal was us basically putting a stone on the button that had so much backing that if they threw a rocket at it, they wouldn't have been able to get rid of it. So I am proud to announce that our team, consisting of myself as skip, Molly Hackett as our vice skip, Alec Hackett as our second, and then Carlos Valls as our lead. We were able to win the C event. Not making it through our pool play very well. It was very frustrating. We had some very close games. I was feeling very discouraged. And at one point, I actually felt like I wanted to go home. I wanted to be done. I was ready to throw in the towel, jump on the next plane home. I was not very happy with our results. So, but my wife talked to me and said, maybe now is a time to reset, meditate, think, pray. So as we went into the C event semifinal and the final, everything just came together and we were playing better. We were communicating. The other thing that happened too, which I hope helps newer curlers as well, is communication. One thing that I did with my team, with Alec, Molly, and Carlos, is I asked them, I said, what am I doing well? What can I improve on? But it ended up working out, and we were able to win this medal, and be the C event champions. So it's very proud of my team, and I'm excited to do another future 5 and under event with them soon. Okay, that pretty much sums up this episode. I know there was a lot that I was covering, from, meeting John Shuster, getting a signed shirt, to, winning my first Bonspiel, being the A event winner, winning, a C event for the 5 and under, skipping for the first time on dedicated ice, and just some of the other events and Bonspiels that happened in the last year. I do have some goals set up for the near future, and again, I want to try to get to nationals in one qualifying event, and I'm going to continue to play in league where I continue to set those goals and improve on my sweeping, and also I'm going to be skipping a little bit more. I know in the past I've had some episodes where I've talked about how it hasn't been as fun, but I feel like I have learned a lot, and Ken Pomeroy has been a great tutor and has worked with me. I feel like I was very successful because of Ken, and Carl Malaret has also helped me along the way, and then Darryl Sobering I'd like to shout out as well, because he's come to one of our 5 and under events in the past, and he was able to sit with me on the couch and, okay, Trevor, here's the game, what would you do if you were this team? And okay, this is what I think, Darryl. And then Darryl's like, okay, well, that's a good call, but now look at this. What if you were to do this, and then end up doing this? And it was like, oh, wow, I didn't even think about that. So taking things to the next level. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Curling to the T. I hope for you newer curlers that the information that I shared with you is helpful. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm not trying to call out any curlers who share misinformation, but I want to make sure that I'm giving you correct information from what I've learned and from my experiences, and from what I've learned from other curlers who have more experience and knowledge of the game. I'm excited to see what curling's going to bring here in the near future, and I'm excited for some more upcoming events. Looking forward to making more episodes of my YouTube series, and I hope that you have a chance to check out my Instagram channel. Check out some of my best shots. So we'll see you next time.